The classic 29er hardtail still exists, and we've made it better than ever before. The Overdrive 29-2 features a fully hand-built, hydroformed aluminum frame. This year we've added boost rear spacing to increase frame stiffness. We've also added through axles in the front and rear to enhance handling precision. As the name implies, this bike sits on 29-inch wheels that roll over everything in their path, making for a very efficient ride. These knobby tires sit on our own tough Blanchard rims to keep you riding smoothly for miles. They're tubeless ready, so you can ditch the inner tubes and enjoy everything going tubeless offers. The SRAM 1x11 drivetrain eliminates the front derailleur and gives you a huge gearing range to get the perfect cadence and speed, no matter whether you're grinding up a long climb or blasting down your favorite trail. The RockShox Reba fork offers 100mm of plush air-sprung suspension. With Rebound Adjust, you can dial in the tune to stay in control on rough trails, and the lockout lets you climb efficiently on fire roads. Nothing compares to the stopping power of disc brakes, and these powerful Shimano hydraulic disc brakes will slow you down quickly and smoothly with an easy pull of the lever. Best of all, the Overdrive 29-2 ships ready ride, so with just 4 assembly steps, you can get to the trail and ride even sooner.
Hi, I'm JB from Huffy, and today we're going to be building your 20-inch Summit Ridge Huffy bicycle. To start, we put the bike on a table so that we could get a better angle of approach to working on everything on the bike. Might not want to put it on anything delicate because the front fork may scratch like a kitchen table or something like that. You can always put a piece of cardboard or something underneath it if you need to. We're going to start at the back of the bike once we get it set up. And we're going to start by putting on the derailleur guard. This is in the box of accessories that comes with your bike, and you're going to have 2 screws that you're going to remove to install that. You're going to put it in place and then reattach the screws. They should get pretty far just by using your fingers and hand tightening. And then once you need to, the ends of the Allen wrenches included with the kit are a Phillips head screwdriver, and you can use those. Or you can just use a Phillips head screwdriver if you have one handy. Once it's in place, you're going to move to your seat. Your seat comes as two pieces, the seat or saddle and the seat post. You'll start by taking the seat post on the skinnier end and sliding it into the seat, and you're going to push it until it catches on this end piece right here. Once it gets to that point, you'll hold the seat in one hand, kind of hold it against your body a little bit, and then pull the seat post up so that it sits like that. And then you can work out an appropriate angle by pulling a little bit further if need be, or pushing back. To tighten the seat post in place, use a 15mm, which is included in the tool that comes in the box. And you'll tighten each side a little bit until the post stops moving. You want to do a little bit on each side so that you have the same amount of bolt coming through on each side. So now our seat post is secure. We made sure that it went all the way down so that it's got enough space. Next, we're going to prepare the seat post or seat tube for the seat post. We're going to open up the quick release lever for the seat post and just tighten it by hand, and then give it a close so that we make sure that it's ready to go. We're also, at this time, going to take our reflector and put it on the seat post. So it just slides on like this. So it should look like that when it's done. I'm not going to tighten it right now because I want it to be able to be adjusted for whoever's riding the bike. So now that is ready, we'll put this on here. All right. Make sure it's straight moving forward, and we're going to go ahead and close this lever. You want to have good resistance on the lever. You don't want it to be too easy to close. Make sure it's tight, and that makes sure that the seat can't move left or right or up and down when the rider's on it. Once you figure out how tall you need the seat, you can then tighten the reflector with the Phillips head screwdriver on the other side. All right. So now we're going to move to pedals. The pedals are marked with an L or an R sticker. It also has an L or an R on the stem of the pedal so that you know which one is which. The pedals are a little weird and a little different sometimes. The right pedal is righty-tighty, and the left pedal is lefty-loosey, or lefty-tighty, sorry. There is a sticker on each crank arm that tells you which way you need to turn so that you're tightening it. There's also a sticker on the pedal that tells you which way to turn. And just in case there is no sticker and you can't read the L or R stamped on the bottom, let's say it just gets a little marred up, the left pedal has a bunch of rib marks around where the wrench goes so that you can identify it from the right pedal. So let's go ahead and start with the right pedal. We're going to move that just a little bit and screw it in by hand. And always start by hand so that you don't accidentally strip out the threads in the crank. Once you get it hand tight, you can then tighten it with the supplied 15mm tool. And you'll hold on to the other crank arm and make sure that it gets on there tight. You do want to make sure that it's tight so that it doesn't come back off when someone's riding the bike. We'll do the left side now. Remember, it's lefty-tighty. And once again, doing it by hand first to prevent any stripping of the threads. And then tightening with the tool. to make sure that it's tight. All right. At this point, we're ready to turn the fork around so that the brakes are in the front. And we will slide the handlebar into place. So you'll want to make sure that the stem is facing forward and that the protective cover that holds the wedge in place has been removed. If it's too tight and you can't get the plastic cap off, you can use a 6mm to loosen up the Allen bolt on the top to get it free. So you'll slide this down. There is a minimum mark on here, and it is about right here, and you'll see a bunch of dash marks across it. So you can adjust this stem up and down as needed for the size of the rider, but you do want to make sure that the minimum marks are at least inside the head tube when doing so. And we're just going to tighten this a little bit right now so that we can get it stuck in place as we add the front tire. And then we'll come back and adjust that so that it's straight with the front tire when we get it completely assembled. All right, so for the front tire, we're going to release the brake mechanism in the front so that we can get the tire on. You do this by holding on to this silver part of the brake arm, and then you'll pull back on the housing wire, and that'll let you release that. No need at this time to loosen up the wire inside the housing. You can leave that be for right now. So we got the front tire here. We've went ahead and loosened up the 15mm bolts that are on the axle, and we've moved the dropout washers so that they're out to the outside so that they can grab into where they need to when we put the wheel on. As far as tread goes, you want the tread to match the back tread, so make sure that you have it pointing in the right direction. Now we'll slip this on, and you may have to loosen the bolts a little bit more so that you get extra space. And then make sure that the dropout washer, the hook part, goes into the hole on the fork. Hand tighten both sides. And make sure that the wheel and tire is in the middle of the fork. Adjust as necessary if you need to retighten. Once you're this far, you can use the kickstand to keep the bike upright. Then I'll use the provided 15mm tool to finish tightening. You may notice as you're tightening that the tire comes off center, and you may have to readjust by loosening a bolt again and trying again. And it is important to make sure that the tire is in the middle of the fork. That way your brakes work properly when you have them attached. So to attach the brakes, we're going to bring the two pieces together again. So you'll push the levers together, slide that piece over, and then it should look like that when it's done. At this point, we need to make sure that the brake pads are contacting the rim in the appropriate place. So we'll look at each side. This side is a little high and it's actually touching the tire, and we don't want that to happen. So we'll adjust with the 5mm Allen wrench to bring the pad down just a little bit. All right, so it's not touching the tire anymore, so that's good. We'll do the same thing on this side, making sure that it's good. This side was good from the factory. And then we will just test the brake to make sure that it's okay. So in this case, this lever over here, moving a whole lot. This side over here, not so much. So we need to make a couple adjustments. For this, you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver. And once again, you did have one come in your kit on both of the Allen wrenches included. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase tension on the spring by screwing in the Phillips head screw on the side that's not moving. So we'll give this a full turn or 2 half turns and test again. And it's still a little tight. And we'll keep doing this until the side that needs to move starts to move. So now you can see that we're getting a little bit of movement there. I'm going to give it another half turn. And it looks like our brakes are functioning the way they're supposed to now. So now we're going to adjust the handlebars so that they are in the correct position. You'll notice that there are marks for the shifter, and there's brake. We want to replicate the adjustment procedure that we did in the front of the bike. So we notice here that we're only having movement on one lever side of the brake, so we want to adjust this side so that we get more movement. So by turning in about a full turn at a time, we start to notice that we get some movement on this side. Should be equal, and you should have all the movement you need. All right, so now we're to the point where we should start tightening up these little things like the reflectors. So we make sure that it's tight and where it needs to be. It can be viewed from the back of the bike. It's not obstructed by the tire or anything hanging from the seat. We want to make sure that we tighten up the front reflector so that it is parallel with the ground so that it works properly and people can see you coming at night. Once that is tight, you'll be all good there. You'll want to align the handlebars with the front tire to make sure that they're correct. Just make sure that they're straight. And then use the 6mm to tighten inside the bag that comes with your owner's manual. There's a little plug, and you can put that plug right on top of the Allen hole there for that fitting. So now your 20-inch Summit Ridge Huffy bicycle is assembled and ready to ride. If you have any questions about anything or you need more specific instruction, there are instructions in the owner's manual, so you can look in there. Once again, this is JB from Huffy. I hope you enjoy your new bike. Make sure to always wear a helmet and obey local laws. Now get out there and have some fun.